Welcome to the V Spot. I'm Vicky.
And I'm Velvet.
I feel like we can never change the way we do our intro now because it's always me first, then you.
Because I suck doing it first.
No.
Sorry.
Well, I just don't want people to think that I'm dominating. I have like
You are dominating.
I'm dominating the intro.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, I will do the intro.
I'll do this with you, but I'm doing the intro.
You have no business doing the intro. I will be doing the intro.
Truth
That's what she said to me.
Velvet shits the bed with the intro. Let's just be real about it.
Every single time.
We've tried. We have tried.
You know what? You do what you're good at.
That's true.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm not good at the intro.
Stick
you
to your
are.
strengths.
I think it's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, it's okay. We have to admit our weaknesses and be open and vulnerable.
With that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very vulnerable and open about the fact that I can't do intros.
That's good. I had an epiphany.
That was so dismissive.
No, because I have a thought. I had a thought, and I was just going to share it before I forget it. I just had an epiphany.
Okay.
We're just going to dive right in today. We won't get into specifics, but I just told you something just like about half an hour ago. And then I was like, oh, like maybe I shouldn't have said anything about that. Like, it's not my business to share. I'm like, I wonder why I'm so hesitant to share things that feel vulnerable with anybody.
Has someone ever really screwed you over with that? Like where you shared something and then it came back and smacked you in the face?
I think like you've never given me any reason not to trust you. So there's really no logical reason for me to be like, it's not like I'm like, oh, she's going to go around telling everybody.
Right.
So I was trying to get to I didn't have a lot of time. And sometimes these things take me a while to kind of dig into. But I was thinking, okay, what about it bugs me? I'm thinking maybe it's almost like my controlling, like I'm trying to control my mind, the narrative. So I don't want you thinking like bad things about me.
What you're saying
or what I'm saying.
I see.
Or like, and we don't know what's going to come of it.
Right.
So I don't want like...
Maybe there's also the aspect, and I realized it when we were talking about it, I'm like, maybe there's the aspect of too much info too, right? Like if I say something now, maybe that's triggering something else in your head, like that you wouldn't have even thought about and put you into more chaos.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I don't want to... There might be that, a fear of getting triggered.
That's actually a really good point. And I think that's sometimes why I do hold back information, because other people's feedback isn't always helpful.
Right.
Especially if you are in your own head a lot. It's
right.
like, oh, well, thanks. Now I got that to think about too.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, I was just kind of thinking about that, how I am so slow to share things.
You are.
Unless I'm at peace with it.
It also, maybe it just made a difference because it wasn't like just like your thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? So maybe you just have a fierce loyalty to not saying things that aren't your thing.
Protect people's, in my life's privacy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not like you didn't by what you were telling me. It's not like you were like...
Oh, no, not at all.
You weren't outing something, but...
No, absolutely not. So yeah, I don't know.
It was more of a counsel thing.
It was.
You just needed to chit-chat a little bit.
I needed to give it air. Because
Yeah.
it was kind of like spinning in my mind a little bit.
Yeah. And I also think if you wouldn't have, I would have been like, why is she being weird?
And I knew that too. And I knew my energy was off.
Yeah.
And I knew you were sensing it. So I'm like, I have to just say what's going on, or else she's going to be like, did she not want to be here today?
Yeah.
Or like, what's
does
happening?
not want to be on the spot
like,
today.
What is happening with her? Anyway, that was a little preliminary tangent. I just know where to go with that. But if you just hopped right in deep as to what...
Right into Vicky's deep and dark.
Vicky's personality issues with not being able to like be vulnerable with people.
Before you came over today, I was like mid going through and do you have ADHD test?
Oh yeah.
I was like a more in-depth one that I've seen them everywhere. Because we spoke about it a little bit here and there, and we both kind of think that maybe that's a thing, even though I think never in a million years would I ever have pegged myself as that.
Me either.
But just when you hear certain things about it, I'm like, oh, that actually makes sense. It doesn't mean you're walking around like a crazy... I think people assume ADHD is visual.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Or chaotic.
Right. And
which you're
it's not. No, it's a lot of it's mental, right? So, yeah. So I only did half of it. So I don't know what they're going to say about me. And it's not obviously a real test. But there's a lot of tests out there. But this one felt like more like... clinical maybe.
Yeah, and I think some of them too, like I read it, I'm like, that could be anybody.
Exactly.
Or that could just be like when you're PMSing, I feel this way.
Totally. This one was more like about like what's going on in your brain. Like it was a lot focused on more that type of thing. Like, can you turn this off? is there always
Right.
things I'm like, oh my God.
Is there always background?
Always. Like
chatter?
and the lady, it was like an ad where she's talking about the survey or whatever. So she's talking about her taking it and her being on ADHD meds. And she's like, I didn't know what it was like to actually have silence in my head.
Right. I've heard that before.
I don't know what that's like. There's never not something going on in my brain.
Was
There's
it-
always a narrative. It's not even like I'm thinking about something like, oh, I have to do laundry later. It's not even like that's in there too, but it's more of a situational things. Like I'm thinking about a situation with Brooklyn. I'm thinking about situations with McKenna. I'm thinking about situations
Right.
with Ashley. Like actually legitimate, like all these things at all times are
Right.
always swirling.
Like you don't have peace in
There
your
is
head.
never a moment of,
So this is something I kind of want to follow up with you on. I think we should kind of like track this
I think so too.
over the podcast
Yeah.
because I find it especially intriguing that you're even saying this because
I hate labels.
You hate labels.
Oh, I hate it,
And
but-
you're the type of person who's like, every second person has ADHD.
I do. I say that all the time. Like, oh,
right?
everybody's got ADHD.
I've said it before, and I've seen these things in you for
Yeah.
quite a while.
Yeah.
And then the more you say about it, I'm like, I wish I would have known this about you 10 years ago.
Right.
Like, it would have explained stuff.
I think because the label of it, I think people just assume, I don't know. There's something about the label of actual ADHD. Because again, I think people think you're kind of wild and crazy
Well, and
then.
I-
Like for me, growing up, the kids that had, well, it's ADD then. There was no ADHD.
There was no ADHD,
But
yeah.
all those kids were on Ritalin and we all
Yeah.
knew what kids those were. So that's what I associate with
They
that
couldn't
now,
sit still,
right? Yeah.
troublemaker in the class.
Which isn't an issue for me at all.
It's always like the things you hear about ADHD are the things that drive you crazy. So the people that are always late or
Right.
can't focus on the conversation. They're flighty. Or
Right.
You always hear like these like negative. You don't hear about just the things that they deal with in their day to day life that make them kind of wired different.
Because I don't have those things.
No.
Those things aren't a thing for me. It's the majority of it. Maybe it's not ADHD. Maybe I'm crazy. But
I don't know.
Yeah, just if I could just turn it off, just even once in a while, man, that would just be a gift. It really would be. It'd be a gift for me to be able to not be thinking.
Yeah. Okay. So take your quiz, and then I think you should start the route of getting like an official diagnosis.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it from there.
All right.
We'll take it from there.
You and me,
Talk
we're on
to
this
me,
journey together.
Talk to me, and I'll tell you what your next steps are.
Perfect.
Because I'll have an opinion about it.
Fantastic.
I'll tell you what you need to do.
It just would explain a lot. Like even when it comes to things like, so my struggle where I think I am the most is like, besides the not turning off my head, but I'm also that person that, as you have now also pointed out to me, I start things very well, but not even the follow through, but like I'm good for a while. And then it's almost like, mwah. Like I can't. So one of the questions on there was like, when you start a project, can you get through the tough part? Can you end it?
Yeah.
And it's exactly what it's like. I can get through it all of it. Like I'm like good at like 85%.
Yeah.
It's the last 15%. So like even when it comes to things like doing taxes and all that,
Right.
everything just feels like so overwhelming to me that I can't even start it half
Yeah.
the time.
It's
It's paralyzing.
Paralyzing.
The thought of it is paralyzing.
the people in my life who have ADHD. That's the exact word they use. Like, it's even like they've used a description of like, and I've said this to you before, but for people who haven't heard it, it's like holding your hand over a hot stove. Somebody could say to you, "Well, just touch the stove," and you're like, "Well, no, I actually can't." Like, "Well, just do it. You physically can't touch the stove," and then you're like, "No, but I actually can."
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
exactly.
That's not going to happen.
Can't touch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's bizarre to me. And again, I thought it was maybe just like part of like perimenopause and like part of all
Yeah.
these things, but now I'm starting to like, I guess just more research has gone into it and stuff too, right? And there's just they're realizing it's different in women than it is in men. And
Do you see anything about how you were younger?
no, that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
when I think back to like, I never had issues sitting still in class or like,
No.
I feel like, but I kind of almost feel like you can develop it as you
Well-
get older maybe, like, or I don't know.
I almost wonder, like, if the things in life that you find the most challenging, like, are the things that are kind of making it obvious that you have it. So, like, in high school,
Right.
for instance, you didn't have trouble focusing. That wasn't one of your things. But or did you? Did you have trouble focusing in
Not
class?
if it was something that I enjoyed.
Which is very ADHD though.
Or is that just teenager?
Or
See,
that's what teenager.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. Like no teenager is going to pay attention to something that they're not that interested in, right? But I think that all even comes around like to we had spoke earlier about how like you do things even as just a woman, you do things your whole life. You have your kids, if that's your trajectory, like you get married, you have your kids, that type of thing. And quite often that's your main thing that you're doing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's a thing I'm good at.
Right.
So like, is being a mom and a wife actually like contributing to my ADHD then, right? Because it's stuff that makes me anxious and paralyzed.
You're not thriving.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like I need to find something where I feel like I'm good at it, that it doesn't do those things to me.
It's not taking something from you.
Right. Right. And I just feel, I think maybe that's why I never saw any signs of it earlier, is because I wasn't doing those things that would have given me that type of anxiety, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all very.
I just had a thought about signs when you were younger. People with ADHD tend to be impulsive, and you are impulsive.
Very impulsive.
And there was things in your teenage, like you would say things very impulsively.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We won't get into those examples.
No, I legit like outed.
Oh, we are going to go into the examples.
Well, I might as well.
Yeah.
Like I legit outed someone's affair to their kids because they made me angry about something else. So I was just like, bleh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a horrible thing to do. What a horrible thing to do to somebody else.
So impulsive.
But I didn't, it's not like I planned it. I literally was mad at the moment and just, that was it.
I kind of feel like that's an ADHD thing a little bit.
And now that you say that, I am very like, I want a dog. I went and got a dog on Christmas Eve. I drove 3 hours to get that dog because I want her. I wanted Bella.
It has to happen now.
Now. I want it now, immediately. Yeah. We're going on vacation. We're going on it in a week.
You've booked it and it's happening.
Absolutely. So maybe it just wasn't what I don't know, whatever. Or I'm just crazy. We can always just go back to that too.
I don't think you're crazy. I'm very interested to find out
I am too.
How this kind of progresses.
I'm happy to, if I can, even if it comes out that I don't have ADHD, maybe we can still somehow figure out how to turn off
your brain,
the inner dialogue in my brain 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like it's almost getting worse now because there's so much, we've had a lot of traction with the podcast, more than I ever thought we would. And a lot of people are talking to us. So I have so many more conversations going on in my head all the time. Right.
Yeah, it's true.
So I'm not blaming. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, but I'd like to know how to manage that properly and not have it like be so overwhelming.
Yeah. You don't compartmentalize well either.
It's all going all at once.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
You said you had
some. Oh, yeah. Okay. You know what? I just had a couple random thoughts today, or not today, like over the last couple of weeks that I kind of wanted to break down with you. Okay. So this is my first question. Do you, and I really want to dive into this, let's just get honest and let's talk about this. Okay. Do you think we would do well together on The Amazing Race? Would we be good partners?
I think we would kill it, except for we're probably not the most physical people. So in the physical challenges, I feel like they take us so long. Like so long. Like, you know, those people that like now it is now nighttime. They started at like 9 a.m. but now the sun's gone down and they're still like digging for things. That's us. We'd get eliminated because of that. But we're smart. I think we'd work very well together.
I think we'd be the first person. We'd be the first person to find.
You know, you're thinking about it now, right? Yeah. Yeah. She needs a minute. I can't tell if you're happy or sad now. It's a mix. We got the thumbs up. Okay. Just breathe, Vic.
So embarrassing. When I get laughing, that's it for me. Okay. We'd be the first people. We'd be the first people to find the location. last to leave.
Absolutely.
Like last
We'd
to leave.
find the clue first.
Yes,
because we can find the clue, but we can't
Everyone
complete
else
the task.
is lost on the way.
Yes.
We found the road that deked off because we were smart like
Found
that.
a shortcut.
We would be
I figured out how to talk to the man in Turkey, even though I don't speak the language. We figured it out.
Yeah. Exactly.
But now he gave me a clue that made me go dig in a well. We're
I
out.
can, yeah, like if you have to shovel.
There needs to be like an Amazing Race where it's not so physical. Like I don't mind like, oh, now one of you has to hang glide. Okay, that's
Whatever.
fine. But
Yeah.
there are some where it's like actual like physical.
If it came down to a foot race at the end,
Oh, we're done. We're down to the final 3. And everybody's running for the finish line.
which is
I'd just
what
be
happens
like,
every single
I
time.
would literally be like, F it. Like, we're not
I have
running
to be a
in.
good 2 hours ahead of everybody. I can walk for 12 hours. I can't even run for 30 seconds. I'd be done.
It would be the most watched ending in the history of Amazing Race because you'd have these people who's dominated and it comes down to a foot race at the end and
and that would be our shame.
And they were there an hour before.
Do you think we would fight?
I think we'd have. I don't think we'd fight. I don't think we're not fighters.
No.
We'd have moments though where I think I'm right and you think you're right.
Yes.
Like that type of thing. I'm stubborn and you can be stubborn. I'm more stubborn. And I'm more vocal about how stubborn I am. You would get quiet, I think.
I would defer to you.
Yeah.
And then get a little bit passive aggressive, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it would be gone.
Oh yeah, no. Next morning,
it would happen, and then it would be gone.
we just forget about it.
Yeah, yeah, it would be a non-issue. But yes, I think there'd definitely be moments. I think it'd be weird if there weren't moments like that.
Well, I just don't know, like if you could, like, let's say, pick another random friend. Would you have those moments with that friend, or would you be on like with you? I don't feel like I'd be. I mean, forgive me for saying this, but I would definitely not be on my best behavior. I would just be like me, right? And if I would be like I would be with Ryan.
I think it comes down to trust too. I trust that you're making. I feel like you're smart enough to be like, if you think that's something, then it's probably it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like I trust your brain,
Right?
and I feel like you trust my brain to some degree too. So
yeah, and we're usually on the same.
And you're directionally challenged, but I'm not.
Oh, I'd be a problem.
But I'm not.
No, you're not. So I would 100% defer to you on all
For
of
sure.
that. Like if you think you know where something is.
But you're a problem solver more than I would
Very
be. So,
much so.
I think it would be again, without the physical part of it, we'd kick ass.
I'm just trying to think if there's any, like I could, if it's like looking under rocks for things.
Sure.
I can go and go and go
Sure.
and go and go. Here's my thing though. What would you do if you are watching me do something?
Yeah.
You know how
There's
sometimes
always one person
it's always
doing
one
it.
person
Yeah.
and I am not getting it and you're frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the last to get it by 3 hours. And you're like, well, I told you to look over here and you didn't. Like,
Right.
how would that be? And I'm feeling guilty. I cost us $1 million. It's hard when there's a lot of money on the line.
Do you think people do it for the money? Like actually for the money or for
I
the
don't think you can.
experience?
I don't think you can.
Like even with Survivor, like I know they talk about it like it's for the money, but I think ultimately people are doing it for the experience.
Who would make it farther on Survivor, me or you?
I wouldn't even bother going on.
Okay, if you were forced to, gun to your head, you have to be on Survivor.
You.
Oh, you think so?
I would be first. I would be eliminated first because I would act like such an ass because I
Right.
do not want to be there.
Right.
I'd be the one like, I'm hot. Do you remember me in LA?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So LA story. We were doing missionary work, and for those listening, I'm doing quotations.
Air quotes.
Air quotes, sorry. But one of our things we had to do was build this like sand park when we had to like move sand. It was a really hard day.
It was a very labor intensive day.
It was very labor
for
intensive.
some people.
It was 123 degrees. Swear to God, it was so hot. Velvet sprains her ankle within like 13 seconds of being there.
It was like half hour, chill out.
Half an hour. It took us a long ass time to do it.
Not me. I sat in the shade.
And you and someone else both
We sure
weirdly
did.
sprained your ankles. What a coincidence.
There's a lot of hazards on that
Yeah.
field.
Anyway.
Thanks for the good work
So
you
she
did.
just watched us, the rest of us, like.
I also ate my lunch in the shade.
Did you feel even a little bit guilty?
No.
That's so
I do
funny.
now. Now, obviously, as an adult.
now.
Then, zero.
So I find that
I think I convinced myself that I actually sprained my ankle.
right. You have to lie.
Like
to
in my
yourself.
head, I'm like, oh, you
have
totally,
to.
you have to be sitting down. You've really hurt yourself. /
Like, thank goodness that you're sitting, or else you couldn't have gone to Disneyland the next day. You had to like.
yeah, I was fine for Disneyland
Sure was.
and the water park.
I don't know if that was after or before.
After.
I don't know. I have a diary of the whole thing, which I'm
Right.
actually going to pull out and I'm going to read because there's some funny stuff in there.
And because it's so ridiculous because it was not a missions trip.
No, like the list of things that we actually did that was fun.
The most labor intensive thing I did besides that, because I
didn't
can't count. I think we cleaned a pool too.
I was genuinely sick that day.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you weren't there. Okay, so I cleaned a pool that day. Oh, you weren't at the water park then either.
I did
'Cause
go to the water park.
Oh, so you couldn't clean the pool, but you could go to the water
Oh my God,
park?
I did clean the
Same
pool. Oh
day.
no, I did clean the pool. But we got there. There was one day I couldn't do something because I was genuinely sick. I did go to the water park though.
Probably because we swam in mud. You probably had some sort of weird bug from swimming in a
Yeah,
mud
I think
pit.
it wasn't just me.
No, a lot of people
got
had
really
the
sick.
squirts, as they called them.
And I was reading the diary and I was sick for half the day in Disneyland, but I still went. And then by noon, I said that I started to feel better.
Do you remember we got in trouble in Disneyland?
Yeah.
Because we left the team. We were like, everybody's taking too long. So we just left and went on our own. We got in trouble.
So irritating. We got there at
3.
it was noon or something like that.
Stupid.
He makes us eat our lunch in the parking lot at Disneyland. We couldn't even just. I
Go.
would have eaten a hot dog on the way in line.
Or just not eaten. It's Disneyland.
And then you would need to film for your camera or something. And so we got separated from the group.
And we knew what the meeting time would be, so it didn't matter.
No,
But
but
apparently
he
it
wanted
did.
to do the whole day together, and we were like, "Well, we didn't want to. We had both been there.
there
We
before,
knew
yeah.
what we wanted to do. We got separated, and then when he found us again, at the very end of the day, remember he made us go back on a ride we had already been on.
No, I don't
This is our
remember
youth pastor at the time. He's like, "We're all gonna go on whatever together." And we're like, "We literally did that. We're all doing it together."
Was it Pirates of the Caribbean? Or
No,
what
it was
it?
one of the Star Wars things.
Oh.
Not Star Wars. No Star Wars then. It was it was like that Michael Jackson.
Oh,
one.
yeah. Like the simulator ride, yeah.
Yeah.
R2D2 and R2D2 and all that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
something
know
like
that was quite the missions trip.
Yeah.
I also made burritos. We were in a
Yeah.
burrito factory that day to feed the homeless. You didn't make burritos.
Not that-
You did puppeteering or something.
I did
instead.
something else ridiculous. I don't know. I'll read the diary.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, we'll save it because
Okay.
there's actually some pretty funny stuff in there.
Yeah, shootings, ants. There's so many things.
Oh, I forgot about the ants.
Oh, how can you forget about the ants?
Maybe
It was an infestation.
It was in
The guys' room.
guys.
It was disgusting.
In the licorice.
Licorice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was funny.
So many inside jokes there.
I know. Too many.
Wonder how those people are that we
The-
went on that trip with.
The ones from the other town or whatever.
Ray,
Oh
Tanya.
yeah. I'm sure they're fantastic.
I bet they are.
Just as good as we are. Maybe they're listening.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. You have something for me though.
I do?
Yeah, you said you had a millennial story.
Oh, I don't have a millennial story. By now you've listened to our millennial episode, and if you haven't, you should probably go listen to it.
Stop this. Go listen. Come back.
But I just have more of an opinion on millennials, I guess. I don't know why I have such a
Yeah.
strong opinion on them. It's weird, but I just
Yeah.
do. I'm
It keeps-
annoyed. I'm annoyed
I
by
know,
them. I
it
don't know
keeps
why.
coming- it
It
keeps coming
does.
up.
I don't know if I think because my TikTok feed is a lot about this type of thing too, which is weird to me. But it was on Instagram. It was an Instagram reel that came up, and it was very Christian based, but without getting too deep into it. It was just an interesting perspective. It was I think this is a good thing for everybody, is to love your neighbor as yourself, right? Whereas millennial culture, as I'll call it, is very focused on themselves, self-help, therapy, all that type of thing, how I'm doing so I can do better, so I can be better for other people. But in translation, it ends up being just about themselves, not about the neighbor. So
Right.
I think that's where my whole view, it was almost confirmation for me to some degree. I was kind of that is why. It's because they're so focused on themselves
Yeah.
that it's hard for them to focus on others then.
Right.
Because it's very self-serving.
Yeah, I was just gonna say self-serving
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and not all. Again, we're not going to generalize, but just as a millennial culture. And anyways, there's more. They added more to it and stuff. It was all very biblical based and stuff. But just the main theme of it was they're being selfish because they're only focusing on themselves. They're not able to help their neighbors because it is all about me. And I'm like, nailed it.
It goes back to that whole like me generation. I think some would argue like, well, you have to put on your own,
like you have to help yourself before you exactly
others.
But like,
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
and I understand to some degree, sure, like to be, but like if we were all healthy mentally before we could help somebody else, no one would be helping anybody. That's impossible. Like, it's not a thing. And I also don't think they realize by talking to others, involving their neighbors, so to speak, that is therapy.
Yeah. Oh my
Talk
goodness,
to others. I was with some girls last night who I'm not normally. I was with at my neighbor's house talking to some people, and 2 other ladies were there that I've never spoken to before, and even just they're old. They're in their 50s, and even just like hanging out with an older crowd, so to speak. Not older. They're only like 10 years older than me, but as opposed to someone that's 10 years younger than me, it's very different.
How? Explain how.
We're talking.
Right.
And we're not, it's not a talking about me. You know what I mean? It was sharing. It wasn't about, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. It was more of I went through this, if that makes sense.
Totally.
We were sharing experiences as opposed to telling experiences. I don't know if that makes, I don't know if that doesn't make sense, but like, I don't know. It was therapeutic as opposed to me just telling a story. It was back and forth. I feel like sometimes those other conversations go, that person tells their story, then now it's all about me. Now I'm going to tell you all the things I'm going through. But that's not necessarily relatable to everybody, right? Whereas I feel like we were all sharing and relating and getting comfort in it. And the one lady who we spoke to today, she said it was great for her. She hasn't had that in a while, right? She was here for 2 days and she felt like it was huge. I felt like it was a big deal for her to the point where her stool changed.
Oh yeah, that's so funny.
I was like, oh, that's good.
Great mind-body connection.
Right?
There. No, it's true though. I think there's something to be said about like when you can connect with people on that level. It kind of goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning of this, where like I have trouble being vulnerable, and I don't want that fear of being vulnerable to stop me from having moments like what you had yesterday.
But it doesn't. I've never seen you in a situation, or maybe I just don't know that you're holding back.
Yeah.
But I feel like you contribute as well.
I feel like I do too.
I've never thought that about you, that you maybe not in a setting where it's like people like, but in a like we don't really know everybody. But if it's in a setting, even if you don't know them and it's more of an intimate setting, yes, you're going to share. You're not going to hold back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm for sure like more trusting, I think, the older I get.
But you're also probably, your circle's getting smaller maybe too, right?
Truth,
which is easier to trust when you just have your people.
Yeah, it's so true.
You don't have to worry about trust issues with the people that you know. What you just talked about is going nowhere. Like we had a Mother Effers / Sweet Adeline brunch last week, and one of the members couldn't make it, but I feel like everything with us is always just, there's always
stuff. Members. One of the members.
But anyway, the first brunch spot did not work out. We were ignored for over half an hour, so we ended up going somewhere else. And we just really wanted the mimosas because they were so cheap. Anyway, we ended up going to a place where they had mimosa flights, and we had no idea that they had it.
It was like a happy miracle.
It was, but the sharing that happened, there were things I learned things about you that day that I had never learned about before.
You're right. Yes.
So yes, you do share if it's the right. I mean, maybe it was the mimosa speaking.
No, it wasn't. No, it for sure wasn't. I think sometimes it's just like the right combination of people.
I think you felt you had, in that situation, there was some support with it. There was relatability between the two of you as well, right?
Also,
so therefore,
me and her had talked about this issue a couple of days, so it was kind of fresh in my mind.
Right. But even I've talked to you about it before too, and you still didn't.
You don't.
But maybe I haven't asked.
You haven't asked questions.
Okay.
I think like if you ever sat me down and said, "Hey, tell me the story, start to finish," I would tell you the whole story. You just never.
I don't want to.
Why?
Because I feel like you're really sensitive to it.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't want to pull those emotions out of you.
Oh, I know. I completely understand why you'd feel that way.
I've purposely never spoken about it. Which is why I didn't. Now I wish I would have, because I didn't know how deep it went.
Yeah, totally. No, I think I am. For people who are, why is she being so vague? It's stuff that just happened in my childhood that just shaped who I am as a person.
Right.
May talk about it one day, may not talk about it one day. I don't know. It's got to do with like self-esteem, self-image kind of issues. Yeah, so it's one of those things, like, it is really vulnerable or whatever, but I think when you go so long without talking about something, you don't even know how to. Like, you haven't developed language around it. Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Or like, I hadn't thought about it for so long, and then me and our friend were talking about it, so it was just kind of coming up a little bit. Yeah.
I feel like I also, in that moment, realized how different we really are in handling things. Like, I know we are, but it was in that moment, because I kept saying I'm playing devil's advocate, which I was, because I was just trying to get like the other perspective, because to me, I'm just like, why wouldn't you talk about it, right? But I just don't have that. I mean, there are some things I wouldn't talk about as well. There just are, like, on there's some on the podcast, just because there's other members involved. Like, it's just not it's just not happening yet. But there's not a lot that I won't say. Let's put it that way. I'm not, and I just don't realize that other people
aren't that way. Yeah.
And so for me, it's kind of like I'm just trying to understand why, and like put it into perspective for myself, like what that is. But yeah, no, I learned a lot that day. I learned a lot.
Interesting.
And then we weren't done, and we were going to order lunch and then we're like, let's go to the pub.
We changed locations.
It was like a full day. It
was a great day, though.
It was a full, I mean, we were missing Tara, which sucked, but it was a full day of, just good girl time. And it was like deep girl time. Like, we talked about a lot of stuff that day. So
yeah, it was really
good.
Deep. Yeah, it was good. I was trying to think, like, from what I did talk about, like, did I feel better after? I don't think so.
You're never going to feel better till you've actually dealt with it.
Yeah.
Talking about it isn't dealing with it.
You know how, though, like, and this again comes back to the millennial thing. Like, I think millennials sometimes want to talk about things in therapy and go over things because they want to come to some sort of, like, conclusion about it in their head and come to some sort of, like, peace about it.
Like, give it some sort of finality to it. Like, yeah.
And I think sometimes when things happen in your childhood or your life, certain things are like, I'm not talking about myself here, just in general. Some things can just be so horrible, and terrible things happen to people. And it doesn't matter how much therapy you go to, you just have to find a way to live around that wound. Like, it's just going to be a scar, and you have to just
or it's like losing a limb, right? You
heal
learn,
around it,
exactly.
and you move forward. And you can keep going back and picking at the scab and picking at the wound and trying, and it just opens up again, and it's festering and it's getting infected. Like, sometimes you literally have to let that scar up.
You know what I think it is, though, for me? My issue with letting things go is I feel like there's no justification. There's no winning. And that sounds weird, but I think it's important that other people also know what they've done to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the healing. And sometimes it's not worth it. And I totally agree. But I think that's just, I don't know. I think that's how you end up I think that's how you get some finality to it, is actually, because if you're just doing things in your own head or even speaking to other people that have similar experiences, it's not the same as actually.
Totally. I think it also depends on who, like, who the other parties are in the situation.
For sure.
And sometimes it doesn't matter how much you say, or it's not being heard.
And that's fair. I'm just one of those people that has to say what I have to say. Weird impulsiveness.
Yeah.
I have to say what's on my mind. Otherwise I feel like I'm going to explode. So that's why I don't understand it. It's because I have to, which is probably something I need to learn not to do.
Do you struggle to understand other people's perspectives? I don't feel like you normally do.
No.
Or other people's personalities?
I don't not understand them. I just didn't realize... I don't know. Not the whole personality, but I think I just didn't realize not everybody was like, didn't have the fuck you button in them, I guess. Right. You know what I mean? Like, at some point I'm just like, fuck you, and walk away. Like,
it's a bit of a gift, though, to be able to be like that. Like, if it closes it in your mind, then that's wonderful. It's serving its purpose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just dropped the F-bomb on the podcast. That was the first time.
Was it really?
Yeah. Look at me go. Sorry, Mom.
Episode, whatever this is going to be.
Mm-hmm. The one where Velvet swears.
The one where, that's what we'll call it. The one where Velvet swears. Swearing by the potatoes. It's always going to be a potato reference.
It's always. It's in the potatoes, not by the potatoes.
Okay, so I saw this thing where Rachel McAdams said, "Do you see this?"
No.
She's a whole photo shoot where she has like armpit hair showing or whatever.
Okay.
What do we think about this?
I don't like it.
I'm trying to be super like
Women's
feminist
lib. Yeah.
and like women's lib about it all. Like, oh, whatever. Like, if they want to have body hair, let them have body hair.
They can. I aesthetically just don't like the look
Like,
of
and
it.
I don't care if you don't shave your legs. I don't know if I want to see a woman with hairy legs. That sounds terrible.
So I think here's part of the problem for me. I think a lot of the time that people are doing it because like, I don't have to shave my arms and legs, so I'm not going to because you can't tell me that I have to.
No one
That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's not a fact that like, oh, I actually just like having hairy armpits. It's not about that. It's about giving it to the man.
Totally.
That's what it is.
Okay, and then
that's what annoys me about
another thing that I've noticed. I don't know if these ads have come up for you, but there'll be like a lady's like underwear ad where you can see like hair or like running on the leg or like through the underwear. Like these are not well groomed ladies.
No, I have not.
And the underwear. I'm gonna see if I can pull.
Does the underwear look fluffy then? Like, are they like fully ungroomed women? Or I know like American Eagle on their website has been those girls have armpit hair and stuff.
Right.
It's been very women's lib, I find, on the female site of American Eagle for a long time now. Like girls are posing with their arms in the air and have full on armpit. Like I feel like they cast a model like you have to have full armpit hair or we don't want you. It's like that type of thing.
Yeah, because they're just trying to have like representation.
They're proving a point.
No, this is more like, I mean, and I think the same company will have, which is great, having representation. Like they'll have like a woman with like a missing limb do their modeling or like in a wheelchair or whatever.
Sure.
And the representation is fantastic.
I just don't want to like, I feel like seeing an underwear ad is intimate enough. I don't feel like I need to see all the bits and pieces.
Because we know it's there.
Like, but like, what if like you have a really long labia? Are we going to have one of those hanging out the bottom now too? Like,
I'm trying to find a picture.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how far do you go?
The picture is not going to help anybody who is
listening.
I just want you to have like you
can show the watchers.
Okay, just like, well, no, I don't know if it's decent. It'll just be like stuff like
coming out the sides, I'm assuming. It's on the sides of the legs.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Or like even like
or like a belly button,
or
like
a C-section scar.
Okay, and that's fair. That's fair. That's real. And pubic hair is real life too. I'm not saying it's not, but
I just think why? Because
I don't know.
Men like in boxers will have like the trail or whatever.
Treasure trail?
Whatever that's called.
Treasure trail, yeah.
But we're women and we're like, ooh.
Because men are supposed to have body hair and women are not, or so to speak, right? But women do have body hair.
Absolutely.
A lot of ladies have to shave their treasure trail.
Yeah.
Like it's a
totally,
thing.
Of course.
I don't think guys realize that.
Yeah, I find it, for this company to like just show like, very much they want their models to come in as you are. Don't do a single thing.
Totally.
Come in as you are and
let it grow out, whatever, and then come in. Yeah.
And that's what they do.
No grooming before the shoot.
And everything in me wants to be like, oh, who cares? That's great. That's how we should. But then instinctively, I'm like, I don't want to see that.
It's because it's
programmed. Are we just programmed?
We're programmed for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. That's all it is. It's our whole lives. We've been told otherwise, but I still don't enjoy it. Maybe I don't know.
No, I don't either.
Whatever. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
You had something else that you were, or maybe you don't want to talk about it now. When we were sitting on earlier talking, this is what I'm really. I'm like want to dive into. I'm dying.
Oh, I forgot about this. Okay, I came in today with all these random things I wanted to talk about, so we're just scratching that itch for me. Okay, so you're gonna think this is so weird. Okay, so I often talk about with Velvet how I'm not like a jealous person. Like I don't, with my friends, like I don't get jealous like when they spend time with other friends, even if they're mutual friends. Like I don't know. I want my friends to have friends.
Absolutely.
I want their relationships to grow and be healthy. It just makes everyone happier. I just think it's good.
I want to hear stories about what those friends did too. Like, it's interesting. Like, yes, it's not bad for
If I was being excluded continuously, well, then there's an issue.
Yeah.
Anyways, for the most part, I'm not jealous. I don't get jealous of like people.
You and Cammie went for a walk. I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. Went for 2 walks now.
Yeah, 2. Oh no, 1 was fine. We need 2's
Two.
You guys, come on.
Okay, I realized though, when you name friends in your phone little pet names or little nicknames, I feel jealous. Like when you had someone and there was Friendy, and I was like, huh? I don't get little pet names or nicknames in your phone.
Yours says Vic.
It sparks a bit of jealousy in me, because I've noticed over the years you've had different friends with cute little nicknames, and I've never had one.
Well, like Tara says Muffin in my phone.
Exactly. And I don't know. There's no logic behind it, because I don't want a nickname necessarily, but like,
is it because I have a relationship with that person enough to have nicknames?
I could care less.
I know.
I want you to have good friends. I don't know.
Maybe you actually just really want a nickname.
I don't know. And this is why I was reluctant to bring it up, because I'm trying to figure out, like, what about it sparks.
Are you jealous that you don't have one, or that other people have one? Like, I
think it's more because I don't have one.
Okay.
Like, I don't, like, I was thinking too, like, we talked, like, out in another podcast about how we, like, don't, like, touch each other or hug. I'm like, does it come down to that? Like, we don't have that.
I don't touch or hug anybody though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it does that. And I don't know if other friends, if they had nicknames for everybody in their phone but me, if it would bother me, or if it's
I don't have it for everybody in my phone.
Or if it's just just you that it bugs me with. I don't know why. It's not like I'm like keeping me up at night jealous, like, oh, I can't believe it, I'm so jealous. But like, if I see it, I get a twinge of like,
really?
I want a nickname.
On. I'm just looking really quick to see names in my phone. I know I definitely.
You do, and I don't have one.
My girls change their names in my phone for each other all the time. Currently, McKenna is Vagina and Brooklyn is Cock Tease.
Oh, nice.
Because they keep changing them for each other.
Fantastic.
So those don't count. Kyle has one. Yours says Vic and has a really good look at the picture of us on my phone. It's our picture in Vegas where we're like doing.
Oh yeah,
so that's fun.
That's fun. Okay, I'll take that. I like that.
Yeah, Amanda's Mandy. Mm-hmm. Like Amanda Hinks is Mandy.
You have somebody in there as Friendy.
Not anymore.
I know.
No, the Friendy's gone.
Yeah,
that's who Friendy was.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know who that was.
Oh, maybe that's where it comes from then.
Because it bothered me before.
I know. Is it that I had like a nickname for someone like that? Because I feel like now that relationship is no longer.
Maybe that's it.
Because you said that name in particular.
That's the one that comes to my head.
So maybe it has nothing to do with the nickname. Maybe it has to do with the person who had the nickname. And you're like, why would you give her a nickname?
Because I had concerns.
Because you're just not a fan.
Oh, maybe. I think maybe you've dialed it in.
All right.
So I'm trying to think if Muffin bothers me. It really doesn't.
Well, that was because her dad wanted to call her Peekaboo Muffin and makes me laugh. So now, obviously, I'm going to use the word muffin.
Okay, but right now, if you called, let's say, Cammie.
My phone says Cammie. Cammie does also not have a pet name.
Let's say if you called Cammie suddenly, like, Love Bug.
Ew.
I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I have another thing. Okay, I know. I'm coming down to it now.
Okay.
Because you're not really sweet and like you're not like that person.
I'm not a name.
No.
Like oh hi Muffin.
I kind of feel like you have that with that person, and I don't get that side of you. That's what it is. I feel like calling somebody in your phone Friendy is so not your personality or who you are to me, that it feels like they have something with you that I don't have access to. That's exactly what it is.
No, that's not it.
So what is it?
That's not why people have nicknames and they don't. Someone will say something dumb at one point and I think it's funny. Right. Like right now, Kyle's name in my phone is Bright Hammer. And the reason it's that is because he was playing a video game where they automatically just generate your name and they put 2 words together. Like it's like lamp fork can be something. Like it's literally 2 words they put together and that is your name. his happened to be Bright Hammer. I'm like, that's gold. So of course his name is Bright Hammer in my phone. Like that's where it comes from. It's not like I developed these like.
That's what it feels like.
I couldn't tell you where the friendy came from. I don't even remember, but something happened at some point.
But it doesn't. The thing about it is that it's not the friendship.
No, yeah.
Like like I said, we both have had close best friends over the years,
sure.
and it's not a thing.
No.
I do not care at all. I think if you're doing anything that's out of what I know of you with somebody else, I'm like, huh.
I also think it was the person.
Maybe. Anyways, how does that change how you feel about me?
No, but I'm gonna find a pet name for
No,
you.
I don't think it's about me. I think it's not about me having.
Well, it's too late. You're getting one.
Well, I have Vic, so
yeah, it's not good
you can
enough.
put in there jealous nickname wanter.
Jealous hoe.
Jealous hoe.
That's what it's gonna be.
It's not as exciting as probably what you thought.
No, it's. I wouldn't say it's exciting, but I think it's interesting because it's so just not you.
It's not me at all.
It's so weird how that is a trigger of some sort. That's what's interesting.
It's a trigger.
But why?
It is. I don't know. It's like I don't like.
Does it?
I think with all of my friends though, like I like to think that I know everything about them. I know their personalities, and like if all of a sudden that friend was doing or acting a certain way with somebody else, I think I feel a little bit like, well, maybe I don't know everything about them, or I feel a little bit like, huh.
This was also a friendship that was outside of you, like never had anything to do with you, right?
Right.
So maybe that's part of it too. Not because you were jealous that you weren't part of it, but because I was having a connection with someone that you actually had no relationship with.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Because I just find it interesting that that's the name you chose.
It's just
that one has stuck out for you.
I guess so.
Because there's a gazillion.
Didn't keep me up at night.
Well, I would hope not.
But enough. I was like, huh. I wonder if I should bring this up with her and see what she's going to say about it. If we didn't have the podcast, I would have never, ever admitted that.
Why?
Because it's stupid. I just told everybody something really stupid about myself.
But it's interesting to me.
I know
this is about us. It doesn't matter if they think it's interesting.
I knew you'd find it interesting.
No, I do. And now I'm going to be in search of a witty nickname for you.
It's going to be so good. But no. I don't. You know what? If I don't have a nickname, nobody can have a nickname. Maybe that's kind of what would make me happier.
Okay. So I just go back to regular names for everybody in my phone. Yes, I have to go through tonight.
If you don't mind.
They're given. What is your given name? I have to go back to given names. I don't care if you go by your middle name. What is your actual first name?
I get the Mandy thing because she hates it. Like I sound like
See, that's a dick thing.
Honestly, it's not about the nickname. I think it's about. I think you're right.
She used to be Fifi.
Oh yeah, she's still that way in Gmail because we share a Gmail account because of work.
And it says Fifi?
Oh no, not Gmail. Sorry, it was Okay, so Velvet's old personal phone is now my work phone.
Oh right, yeah.
So it.
Oh yeah, we transferred to Fifi.
So I'm like, after like a year, I'm like, I am changing this.
That's so funny. It's because I had two Amandas in my phone, and so we were being stupid. I'm like, I'm going to call you Fifi. So literally, it came up as. The problem with me doing stuff like that, where it's not like a natural nickname, I can never find them to text them then.
Right, yeah.
So like I do their actual name and I'm like, what the? And it was a new friendship at the time. So I was like, why isn't she coming? I'm like, oh, right. And then I'm like, what did I call her again? So sometimes the nickname thing isn't good. So Vic is easy for me, but you're also pinned. So it's right. I know exactly where you are.
Do you ever, like I've had this conversation with other people before, but like, and I've said I very rarely get jealous, but does anything make you jealous? Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I can't name anything, but I know I do get jealous sometimes, for sure.
With like, is it more people or things?
I was trying to think. You mean like possession things or? Mine's more possession over people.
Yeah.
I don't get jealous of people. I get jealous of things.
Interesting. I think with me it's probably even.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more experiences I've realized. Like it's like somebody could have like the most amazing house, car. I could care less.
Yeah.
Or couldn't care less rather. Don't care. I don't care about anybody's stuff.
Yeah.
Don't care. But if they just like wandered through Spain for a month and had this most wonderful, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
But it's always like I feel like it's a healthy jealousy,
Right.
so to speak.
You're not like thinking about it for hours and hours after.
No.
No. And that's how I am too.
Yeah.
I'll have a moment of it, but I get over it really quick. So, because you can't live your life like that.
No, I think some people are just like more jealous.
Some people live in a constant state of jealousy. I do. Like they just like everything is a problem.
Everything is a problem.
Yeah.
And like, and it comes down to the stupidest things, like compliments that person got publicly in front, like
nicknames.
Oh, actually, this is why I don't tell you anything. This is why I'm such an ass. This is why I don't tell you anything. I'm such an asshole. It's such a dick. That's your nickname in my phone. Dick.
I had to do it, Vicky.
Well, if that's the worst of my jealousy, I think I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing very well compared to most, I think, probably.
I don't know about that. But yeah.
Did you get it all out?
I feel okay.
Okay.
I don't think I feel any better having told you. Not gonna lie. But whatever. Maybe we'll cut that all out.
No.
I don't know.
Staying.
Fine.
People will be jealous if they don't get to see it.
How was your week this week? We didn't really talk about our weeks.
I'm trying to think what I even did this week. I had a busy week. I don't know why I can't think what it. Oh, we had like it was a chaotic week, but it wasn't my chaos. It was more Brooklyn's chaos, actually. She's been so busy. And the only time she's busy is when she's actually busy with other things. Then her acting kit picks up. It's just like Kyle. Real estate can be dead. He goes on a vacation.
Yeah.
19 listings.
And
like,
he has to like give it to
all his listings are selling while he's gone. Like that's just how I'm like, we just need to book vacations always so everything sells. But and then he's got to give part of his commission away. But no, she had a lot going on. She booked a commercial, yay. Good. She's gonna be going to film that in Toronto. But it just fell on top of, she also over the last couple of weeks learned a dance routine because there was a grad cruise. So McKenna had her grad cruise, but 4 of the girls from the dance routine also were on the grad cruise. So 4 OGs, as we call them, subbed this dance at a dance competition. It was a lyrical number. They learned it quick and did it. But all this happened she found out she had the commercial at like 3:30. She had to be at the theater for 6 though. And they told her she had to be somewhere at 4:30 to get it's Invisalign. So she had to get fitted for like fake braces by 4:30 and it was just panic mode. And it was like that all week though. She had to be somewhere all week. So it wasn't my chaos. And until the end of the week, it was like, I had a party I had to go to, and we know how I feel about crowds of people. So like Friday night, I was up till 5 thinking about me having to talk to people that I knew Kyle, and I knew I was only going to know Kyle at this party. Hard. So I knew I was going to have to interact, which is fine. But I also had a bit of an epiphany. Maybe this is kind of sound weird, but I'm laying in bed and I'm like, is it selfish of him? Mind you, when he committed to us doing this, he didn't realize my mass anxiety with social situations. He found that out through the pod. But I'm like, is it selfish of him to make me go? Or is it selfish of me to not go? And so both in my head, I'm like, okay, say both acts are equally selfish. Mm-hmm. It means more to him that I go with him than if I stay home. And that was my final decision. I'm like, both acts aren't actually selfish, but that's how I did it in my head. I'm like, it's selfish because he knows I hate it. I'm selfish because I know he wants me there with him. But of the two things, which is going to have the better outcome? Because I want to stay home, but I'll get over it. He really wants me there with him. So yes, of course I'm going to go with him. So that was my thought process. And I'm like, okay, that's how I have to start looking at things when it comes to my anxiety. Like, if I'm going to not, or if I'm going to cancel on something or bail on something, is that going to do more damage than me actually just going and just getting over myself? Because I can't be a recluse either.
I think too, with things like social anxiety, there's so many things in life where you really just have to just do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard, but we can do hard things.
Yeah.
Like, and the more you're bailing on these things and not doing it, the harder it's going to get, and the easier it's going to get to stay home. And
totally.
yeah,
That's why I think COVID really set off my anxiety, because I was home so much, and then I had to go back into the real world, and I was like, oh dear God, I just was not used to it anymore. So yeah, no, and it was fine. We found another couple there that also didn't know anybody, and ended up talking to them for the night. It was fine, and I always know it's going to be fine. I think I actually prefer somewhere where I don't know anybody, as opposed to a place where I kind of know people, where you know you have to make pleasantries, and
it's exhausting.
I just don't know what to talk about, and I feel when I'm on the spot, I feel like and you have to talk to somebody, I have nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
I don't, like, all of a sudden I blank out, and I'm the most socially awkward person ever. Whereas if I'm comfortable with the people, I won't shut up.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, it was worth it.
I can't picture you being socially awkward.
Oh, but I maybe I don't show it, but inside I'm dying.
Do you go home and like analyze what you said?
Yeah, I'm like,
after?
I can't believe I said that. Stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I
Like,
do
that
that all
sounded
the
so
time.
stupid.
That's why I thought I was going to have trouble doing a podcast, because I have that obsessive nature to like go home and overanalyze what I've said,
Right.
how it landed.
I feel though, as we've done it now for a while, hasn't been that long, but
Seasoned veterans.
yeah, no, I think it's easier to ignore the fact that there's lights and cameras and a microphone in our face, and it's just us
Talking.
having a conversation now. Yeah,
Right.
It's not so. I don't even remember I'm on a podcast half the time.
No, and I will leave here and automatically forget what we talked about, which is always kind of funny.
Yeah.
And we're editing it after. I was like, oh.
What about your week?
Yeah, it was good. It was fine. I'm trying to think of something wonky happened on Monday that kind of threw my week off, but now I don't remember what it is. So obviously it wasn't that big of a
bad?
deal. No, I just remember it was like,
Was it work?
it was, yeah, maybe.
Probably.
Friday. Oh my goodness. Friday at work was just a nightmare. The day was good, but then at night, like, things were coming in late, and I was up too late, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go to bed and wake up early. And then I was laying in bed, I'm like, I can't sleep. It's like midnight, and it's like 2 a.m, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go finish.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just gonna go finish what I was doing. So I got up at 2 a.m, finished at like 4.
Oh my gosh.
And then I send pictures off overseas to get edited or whatever, and they started to come in, so I
started doing
that. So I
wish I had that in me. I do. I wish I had I can't sleep, so I might as well just get up and do something.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I can't sleep. I still just lay there and not sleeping.
Right.
Like, I'm jealous of people like that.
I think when you have to do something, though, like,
I do know I have to do something. Give me things I have to do
I
now.
know, but this is okay. I'm going to tell you my logic. I'm just shifting. So my hip's been bugging me. The last
Would you like me
podcast,
to
I knocked over a
check your... Never mind. I'm
Oh,
sorry
yeah.
that you're...
My whole thinking with that is that like everything has to get out generally by a certain time.
Yeah.
So it was partly selfish, because I was like, I really just when I sleep, I want to just be able to sleep in and not wake up.
Right.
And I knew if I fell asleep, I was gonna have to get up in like
Okay.
3 hours. Like, if I just do this,
Right.
then I'm done and I can
Right.
sleep for as long as I want. So it's kind of like
It's also maybe different. It's different when it's not just... It was work related too. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
I'm
other
answering
people
to
are
somebody. Yeah.
relying
Yeah.
on you to do something, whereas the things that I need
it's
to
not
get
like the
done...
dishes or
Not even the dishes, but like things that I know I need to get done but it's only going to affect me if I don't
Yeah.
get it done. That's why I just keep putting it off.
There's
but if it's something else for somebody else, I have no problem getting it done. Yeah.
If it's just for me, like if I thought, I really wanted to get my taxes done, well,
Right.
it's a very easy thing to put off.
Yeah.
Like, what's one more day?
Right.
But yeah, with work, I'm like, I just want to get this done.
Yeah. It's different when you're like answering to somebody, I guess, but
Yeah, when I used to edit in the evening, when I was done, and sometimes I'd be done very, very late, it takes me a long time to turn my brain off. Like, I feel like I'm kind of
vibrating
for a while. Oh my gosh. Couldn't sleep some nights. I was just so like, and then I know I have to get up in like 3 or 4 hours. Brutal.
this job's the worst.
No, it's fine. It was just Friday was a little bit. Friday was a bit of a
shit show.
Yeah, in the evening, everything was just not.
Things weren't uploading and stuff, right? Yeah.
Kyle saved the day though.
Oh, Kyle. Always saving
Our
the day.
hero.
Oh, wow. That was extreme.
I think that if I just sat here and like said all types of really nice things about Kyle and how much I appreciated him, you'd be like, come on. Like, you would hate to hear it. Why?
I don't know. It just seems like a lot. Because he's
I
my
would-
husband.
I know,
Like,
I
I deal
wouldn't-
with a totally different side of
Yeah.
him that you... Well, no, you probably get to deal with that side
I
sometimes,
sure
too.
do.
And you still say nice things.
I feel like I know him really well.
You know him very well.
Yeah.
Oh, to the point where...
Oh, no.
What?
To the point what?
When you worked at his office,
Uh-huh.
you knew way more things
Yes.
before I even did.
Because I was with him during the day.
I know.
Yeah.
It's still rude. Someone should tell me, too.
That's his fault, not mine.
I'm not blaming you.
I don't know what.
It was rude. I was like, oh, Vicky knows.
That's funny.
He'd always be like, oh, yeah, I was talking to Vicky. I'm like,
Aw,
it's so
so
nice when
nice.
your best friend and your husband are just like
Best
getting
friends.
along. Yeah. I mean, it's great for some dynamics, but not for that. I was left out.
No,
I
you
got
were
jealous.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
I wish that was true, but you didn't. No, I don't want you to
didn't.
be jealous.
I'm not.
Yeah, but I feel like if anyone is allowed to say nice things, it's me because I know the nice things
You are.
and I know
No,
the bad
and
things.
he is fabulous. I just like you do it a lot, so I like to say it when you. I'm like, ugh.
When I say nice things,
No, when you like call him your boss, and
Oh,
I still
yeah.
want him to go to his head.
I don't think that's possible. He's so humble. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I think I'm good.
you got anything else in you?
No,
Anything? Any other issues you got with me?
I didn't. That wasn't an issue. That was
just bugging
my. Don't make me regret being vulnerable, Velvet.
Sorry. I appreciate you being vulnerable, and I will come up with the best name for you possible.
So I don't think I want one. I think I want everyone else not to have one.
That's boring.
Whatever. Yeah, I think I'm done. I had it was one of those weeks where I had a lot of random thoughts. But we're just gonna hold off on those.
Okay, bestie.
Ew, that's gross. That was the worst thing you've ever said.
I know. I did it on purpose.
I don't want that. That's what it is though, because it's so out of character for you that I don't. Ugh.
I don't call these people these names to their faces,
I don't know that, though.
Oh,
I don't know that.
never.
That's
no.
weird.
It's just in my phone. I would never call. I don't go up to Kyle and be like, "Hey, Braid Hammer."
Okay, I know that this is all over the place. If I was with a friend and I was like, okay, this is what it comes down to. If you found out that like I was with a friend and I was like dancing and like out dancing on the bar and like just being a way that you've never
seen you?
and it would be like, I don't think it would necessarily make you feel jealous. I don't even know if jealous is the right word. And in the situation with this, I don't even know if jealous is the right word. It kind of throws you off a little bit because
You're missing out on something.
no,
with
it's
somebody?
you're seeing a side of me that you didn't know I have.
I don't feel like this is a side of me, though.
When I see nicknames, sweet little nicknames.
It says vagina and
No, that
cookies.
doesn't count. And obviously, bright. It seems like friendly. Like
why is that one such?
it is
that one's the trigger.
Because that's the most recent I've seen. I've seen other ones too. Now that I'm scrolling through your
Like,
phone.
why are you in my phone?
Well, like in the car, things will pop up.
Sure.
Yeah, if I was going through your phone, I would not be talking about this.
You know what's funny? I didn't even question how you saw it. I'm
know.
just like, it's all right.
I don't know.
Saw it.
Yeah, like I think that's if you saw a side of me that you just didn't see, how would that make you feel?
It would depend what the side was.
I'm dancing on bars, being all wild and outgoing.
Then I would be like, wow, she had a lot to drink.
Okay.
I wouldn't think that's you being something different.
Okay.
I would just think you had a lot to drink because that's out of character for you.
Right. Okay. So, what would you think if I had all types of cutesy wootsy nicknames in my phone for people and none for you? You were just Velvet, and everybody else was like,
People would think that's a pet name anyway.
they probably would. Yeah.
Kind of have that name. That's kind of a pet. No, but that wouldn't bother me at all. Because I feel like, because these nicknames were generated because of things that have happened. I don't think
Yeah.
if we, I don't know that
Yeah,
we've
but I
ever
don't
been
know
in a
that.
circumstance. No.
I know with some of them, like Muffin or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, like I'm talking about this, like I've thought about it so much. It literally just hit me. I'm like, oh yeah, that gives me kind of like a feeling. It's the only way I can describe it. Kind
So
of like,
funny.
I know.
Again, I think it was the person. That's what I'm going to chalk it down to.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me.
All right.
I've already said too much.
At least it wasn't me this time. It was you. No.
All right.
All right.
That's it for us.
Bye.